What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. Today's video, we're taking a little bit of a step back here, as I have gone 0-6 in the first 6 battles of this video, and then I go 0-5 afterwards. So I'm going to be completely transparent right up front. This is not a, oh my god, look, this team is amazing. Oh my god, look at how busted this team is against the meta. No, this is me trying to make some content about a brand new build that I just made, a regular, non-purified, non-Shadow Sableye with Dazzling Gleam. I wanted to make a point that this thing is just as good, if not maybe even better, than its purified cousin, and absolutely works better as a safe swap than the Shadow because of that extra bulk. Now, when I'm going to be putting a team together with this Pokemon, it's very flexible, it's a good safe swap, so you could just put any core together that you really want. And what I'm using Sableye for is to draw out dark types like Mandibuzz and other things that would do well against my Golisopod that I'm going to have stowed away in the back. This Golisopod is cored with Steelix, and I got the idea from watching Home Slice Henry's second channel. If you haven't seen it, he does some really cool content on his second channel, but he threw the Shadow Steelix Golisopod core that's just completely dominated the recent play Pokemon regionals over the last weekend, so I thought I'd give it a try. And I want to take this opportunity to go over all these losses with you guys and show you that not only does it happen to me, because I know it happens to y'all too, but also so that we can go ahead and talk about these games and what we could have done better. So let's get into the first game here, and we're going to see Mandibuzz. Normally, this is a great lead, right? But the thing here about Mandibuzz lead is that I can't really swap in my back line because the Shadow Claws are really ineffective, and Mandibuzz has very positive matchups into these Pokemon. So I'm going to stay in with my Steelix. What I could have done differently here in hindsight, again, most of this stuff we're going to talk about is in hindsight, so I'm completely reviewing my own gameplay here, and we go for a Breaking Swipe. And because the Breaking Swipe is not a guaranteed debuff, I'm not willing to spend an early shield on it, but I am okay with getting rid of the HP on this thing. And now they're going to safe swap into a Gastrodon, which, if you're watching this, is a big no-no. And the reason why is because Gastrodon gets easily walled by things like Flyers, for example. It has really bad play, especially in the grass types. If I have a Superior or something, I'm just farming this thing all the way down. Now, Golisopod does resist the Mud Slaps, but the Body Slam is neutral, and I'm thinking maybe I should go for Switch Advantage here, and so I'm going to go ahead and try and do that. Now, I need to be going for Aqua Jets here. I don't really have it wired into my head here that Aqua Jet is slightly more damage than X-Scissor. That's something that I have to try and train myself to do because I'm so used to throwing these X-Scissors into neutral situations. Opponent makes a great play here, swapping their Mandibuzz to eliminate the energy off of my Golisopod, and I'm going to try to go for the Thunderfang down here. And I just got to hope at this point that Sableye can handle whatever's in the back. We have no idea what it is yet. They have shown us Gastrodon, and it's Wigglytuff. And this is one of those games where I'm just like, you know what? There's nothing I can do. I'm angry, but I can't do anything. So next game, we're going to have a decently good lead here into Dragonite. The opponent's going to safe switch into a Shadow Typhlosion, and I realize my entire team is now going to get cooked by Shadow Typhlosion because with that energy lead on those Incinerates, its Thunder Punches just eviscerate my team. And I quit. There's nothing I can do against Shadow Typhlosion. The opponent can just have that one. There's nothing to reflect on there. I just can't beat the Typhlosion. They're going to get Switch Advantage and probably so much more because my fast moves are not going to add up enough to be able to do anything. So in the next game, we get Steelix into an Alolan Sandslash. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go straight into my Sableye because I'm going to force them to go for a less harder hitting Ice Punch rather than allowing them to go for like a drill run into my Steelix, right? So Sableye can tank that energy, and then we're going to be able to draw out a Golisopod, or a Gastrodon. That's not Golisopod. Golisopod is far more cool looking. But the thing is that, again, I need a Switch Advantage. Maybe I should have shielded the opponent's Ice Punch. In hindsight, like, I'm thinking, okay, Steelix with energy can do okay here, or Shield Advantage. So I'm like, all right, fine. But now I have to come in with Golisopod to absorb the energy, and they come in with the Alolan Sandslash. So what this already tells me here is that they have another answer in the back to my Steelix, most likely. And so I'm going to try to keep my Golisopod alive here, knowing that, because if they had another answer to Golisopod in the back, they would have come in with it and kept their, they would have kept the Steelix aligned to their Alolan Sandslash if that were the case. So now I see that they have a Mud Slapper in the back. Shadow Claws are not going to be able to do me much good here, and I have to shield this because otherwise I lose my Golisopod and I lose the game. So, again, another really tough lead here, and I'm trying like hell to get to that next Aqua Jet. If I can get to one more Aqua Jet, I might have a chance to win this game here, but unfortunately, I know that my HP is going to be too low, and it's like, I lose. There's nothing I can do here. So, I mean, good game, I guess, but there's nothing I can do about that. And as frustrating as it is now to have lost, what is this now? 3-4 games in a row. It's those team comp games where there's nothing I can do, and I have to tell myself, just pick yourself up, move on to the next one. I get 05s once in a while. It happens. It's nothing you can. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. Every ounce of your luck and everything about it is just against you. And I know y'all are going to go in the comments and be algorithm. It's not. I'm not going to get into debates about it. I don't think it's a thing, but people will believe what they want to believe. My opponent does not bother, or no, this is not that game. There was a game where the opponent didn't even bother going up to the 5. This is not that trainer. They were smart. So they went for the Rock Slide. They could have actually gone for a Bone Club bait here, which I kind of thought they might, but it's fine that they go for the Aqua Jet, or we go for the Rock Slide, because now I can safely go for the Aqua Jet after getting more energy. And what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try and land an X-Scissor. I'm going to just say, you know what? If you got the acrobatics, you send all the energy. They go for the energy ball and we live it. I'm going to go for a few more Shadow Claws and try to get up this X-Scissor, hoping that maybe it's enough. But they live on 1 HP. And then they bring in more Pekko. I don't get my charge move off. And honestly, that is the game right there. Because Steelix, I mean, and I'm saying this in hindsight. Right now, what I'm trying to do in this game is I'm trying to do as much pressure on damage as I can. I want to get the shields off of that more Pekko if I can. And I know I can no shield that first move because it is a double resisted electric ore wheel. The dark type is the second one. They're very likely to just Psychic Fangs me, so I'm just hoping. I'm hoping that I'm catching a Psychic Fang here. I'm not. It's ore wheel. Ouch. Yeah, that hurts. And I'm not getting to a move at this point. I kind of accept that it's over. Like, more Pekko in the back, what am I supposed to do about that, right? Try like hell to fight with Steelix, and if I can't, then it is what it is. I'm going to try and see if I can catch the opponent off guard. If they're going to try to make a catch to win this game, then that's my win condition. Otherwise, I'm going to keep Thunderfanging until I have 2 moves, and I hope that they catch, and they don't. I throw the Breaking Swipe at the last second. I'm not going to be able to live this next move, but I was hoping. But, again, alas, you do your best. All you can do. So, next game in our losing streak is against a Talonflame, which I could potentially do okay here, but I should have probably swapped into my Sableye. And the reason why I say that is because Golisopod is my only real answer to the Talonflame, aside from Steelix's Thunderfangs, right? Sableye, unfortunately, because of the rework to Foul Play, one Foul Play does not do enough damage to really affect the matchup, and you still have to land another one in order to get the knockout. So, but the thing is that if I go in with my Sableye, they stay in and probably go for a move, take my shield, they come in with Pekko and destroy my face anyway. So, I just, like, you know, I thought that I would give the Golisopod safe switch a try, also hoping that I would maybe live that Psychic Fangs, but we don't. But at least now we have the shields down. If I can, I'm going to save the shield for Sableye, and I'm just going to hope that that'll be enough. My opponent is going to go for the Psychic Fangs, or we'll actually would have hit harder. And Incredility comes, and I think I stay in just too long here. If I had been quicker on the switch, I think this might have been a different game, so I'm going to actually have to stay in now. I'm trying to get this thing down into a range where a Foul Play would knock out. I'm expecting them to go for the Grass Knot here. The opponent goes for Rock Tomb, and I'm trying to swap in my Sableye, but the game doesn't let me, so here I am just like, are you kidding me? I hit the swap button, why is the game not swapping? But now, because of that, I'm forced to stay in because I can't come in with my Sableye knowing that I have to take a foul, or knowing that I have to take a Rock Tomb in order to get my energy off. And then my opponent switches into the Talonflame, but it's because of that one Incinerate advantage they had from earlier. I will not be able to get to 2 moves before they get to another move now, which is unfortunate. Because if I could, I mean, I could have, but they would have been, they were at another move. They could have won that if they wanted to. But I have to go for the move on my Sableye to the Foul Play, and I'm not going to be able to get to another charge move. I have a shield, but Steelix isn't doing much in this matchup. I'm going to get farmed down. And again, another really tough team comp that, like, I guess if I had safe swapped the, you know, I safe swapped the Golisopod. That was my best option. If I safe swap the Sableye, they still come up with a Morpeko, and then they also have the Cradily to beat up my Golisopod, which Golisopod's better because it has X-Scissor, but still. It's like, what you're not going to know any of this stuff in advance. You only know it in hindsight. I see a really tough lead. I can't bring Golisopod in, and maybe I should have, but they're going to Thunder Fang through my Golisopod. So I'm thinking I'll just come in with Sableye and hope to try and figure this out. Opponent comes in the Wigglytuff. Okay, well, I guess. At least I baited out the Wigglytuff, right? This is a sign where I should have swapped into Golisopod and just tried to do that. I think that in this game, we would have at least gotten to 2 Aqua Jets if the opponent had swapped out of their Steelix. We have an opportunity. Now the opponent can go for the farm. They can. It's just another bad, like, this is just terrible, terrible luck for me not being able to make anything happen in any of these games because the opponent's team comps are just unsurmountable in the end of things. But this team itself, I find this team is actually really good. If I can avoid these kinds of days where I'm just getting manhandled by every team. So I think this is the last loss. I'm trying to use this as an opportunity to kind of reflect and kind of explain what I could have done differently, what went wrong. But I mean, especially now when I'm looking back on these battles, it's all team comp. It's unwinnable games, I think. There's no way for you to win this game because, like, you know, whatever's in the back has to be weak to Golisopod. I'm basically banking on the fact that they have to be weak to Golisopod. And then the opponent goes for a Psychic Fangs, and I'm thinking, well, this sucks, but in order for me to not lose this game, I have to shield this up, otherwise I'll be too low. And then they come in with a Mandibuzz. I immediately top left. I'm done with that. No. Fat 05 feels great, man. Feels great. Let's talk about a 5-0. Let's do that now. Steelix into the Wigglesworth, the Wigglytuff, who will get eviscerated. Opponent comes in with Malamar. I'm thinking I'm going to try to go for a move and then swap out, but realistically, I should have just come in with my Sableye right away. There's no reason for me to risk taking all this extra charge move damage. It just makes the Wigglytuff a little bit better late game because they have less HP to chew through with those charms and the Icy Wind, right? So I'm going to overfarm as much as I can here, going for this Dazzling Gleam. I know the opponent won't shield this move because they're just going to get farm on their Wigglytuff. That's their attempt at winning, is just hoping they can overcome the bad lead with extra farm on the Wiggly. So I'm going to go for the Dazzling Gleam. We get some chunks out of the HP. They take us out. And now Steelix comes in, has energy, but the opponent has a Marowak in the back. And now I get to do it to somebody else. Now, this is the opponent that didn't bother building up to the Rock Slide. Like, if you are going to just throw Bone Club into Golisopod, at least you got to build up to the Rock Slide, so at least I know you have enough energy for the Rock Slide. If I know you don't have enough energy for it, I'm not shielding, and that is honestly the biggest mistake that my opponent made here, I think. Now, thankfully, we did swap quick enough where it might have, you know, not made a difference, but the opponent would have absolutely gotten both of my shields stripped off of me here, and now they come in with the Wigglytuff. I saw that my switch timer was coming up, so I'm ready to make the switch, right? It's always a good idea whenever your charge moves are ending to take a look at that bottom right corner where your switch clock is and just have an idea of where it is when, how long you have until it comes back up so that you can try and time your switches correctly or know what's coming up. Good game. Something else that I like to do is also use my own switch timer as a gauge of my opponents. If I know, like, man, there's only one charge move between me and my opponent's switch clock, then I know that, okay, that just means that when I have about 10 seconds or about a fifth of mine left, they can switch, right? And so the opponent swaps in Tentacruel here. This is kind of telling me they don't have an answer to Sableye. And, like, Pangoro does not do amazingly into Sableye now that it has Dazzling Gleam. But also, you know, the opponent can't one-shot with close combat like they can with most other, like, you know, dark types, and the Night Slashes are only neutral, so opponent's going to go for a charge move. I think they have enough for 2 Night Slashes, so I'm just going to go ahead and let this go. Close combat does a lot, and I'm actually going to try to go for a couple more claws here, but I should have just thrown the Gleam. My opponent thought it was going to launch the Gleam. I'm going for the foul play here. I have Steelix to put on the Toxapex, and honestly, I have Golisopod for the Pangoro, so we're going to be good in that game. Well played. It's just we're team comping other teams now. There's definitely some skill involved in the quickness of the swaps, but now we see a bad lead. So what do we do in bad leads? Opponent's going to stay in, go for 3, and then swap into Mandibuzz. They're probably pretty confident in being able to take this matchup, but I'm going to show him with my Sableye why that's not right. Plus, them being on Air Slash Mandibuzz makes the pacing war so much better for Sableye here, because after the first Gleam lands, you can bait at least one. You have enough for the Gleam, you might as well. And the opponent having much worse pacing, and I have this much energy, you bet I'm going to go for it, man. Now, the opponent, I believe, is out of move, so I'm going to go for the Gleam right away to win CMP just in case they do go for it. And worst case, they get an Air Slash through, big deal. I get to get both shields off the opponent. I'm happy to let this go here because I think that Golisopod could possibly be able to do something in the end game, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for, right? I've baited out the Mandibuzz, the hardest possible answer to my Golisopod that I can at least think of. I mean, unless they're running Bastiodon in the back, which who's doing stuff like that these days? Opponent's going to come in with their Marowak, and I'm able to react quickly to be able to do that. And the opponent doing this is just... It's a play that's going to lose them this game for sure, because now I'm able to freely put my Golisopod on. When I swap out right away like that, it means that I have two better answers in the back to this lead, which is typically going to mean that if the opponent wants switch advantage to keep their Marowak on my Golisopod, they need to win that matchup with the Mandibuzz, which they did. But force swapping out of the lead like that, or force swapping back in like that, was just a losing play because now alignment is mine, and whatever's in the back is not going to appreciate my Steelix. Now, again, I should have gone for Aqua Jet here, but I'm going to go for the X-Scissor. I'm still having it in my brain, and I'm like, stupid, go for Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet does like 2% more damage in neutral matchups, but it's still something, and we're going to be able to launch two moves at Drapion to be able to take the game. So well played to the opponent there. Dugong is a great lead for Steelix. I'm going to stay in. I'm going to throw 7 Thunder Fangs and go for my Breaking Swipe. I'm not going for Psychic Fangs here. The reason why is because the Psychic Fangs debuff, they just swap out, they can clear it and store the energy. At least with Breaking Swipe, I have a chance at getting a debuff, and because I get the debuff, I'm definitely not shielding, even if it's a drill run here. So we're going to see them stay in this matchup. So that kind of tells me that something in the back does not appreciate Steelix. I'm going to go for another Breaking Swipe, and we get another debuff. I don't get debuffs like that very often, so I'm very thankful when I do, because it doesn't usually go in my favor. The double debuff drill run is going to land, not do enough damage to knock us out, and they come in with a Superior. That is an answer to Steelix, and so I have to assume that this is their only answer to Steelix. So if I bring in my Sableye, there's a solid chance that I might be able to pull out whatever's in the back. Opponent's going to farm up energy, and they bring in the Bastiodon, and they're down a shield. This is an incredibly good matchup for Sableye now with its new pacing, because of the fact that you just outpace everything so much with these Smackdown. It's 7 Smackdowns to a charge move. You thought Azumarill's pacing was bad. Try Bastiodon. I can easily shield one of these moves here, or catch on Steelix because I'm feeling extra saucy today. Now, I can continue the matchup with my Sableye here, or I can come in with Golisopod. I don't want to take the super effective damage on my Golisopod, so I'm going to come in here with my Sableye, continue flinging off Shadow Claws and Foul Plays, and I know that I have a Golisopod in the back here that has energy stored that I can just go into it as soon as this Basti goes down, except, wait, my switch timer's not up. So, the opponent throws energy. This is a huge misplay by them. They must have just miscounted the energy, but in my eyes, it was a mistake because I was not getting to another move, and if they were able to keep track of energy, they would know. Now, from prior experience, I know that I can live 1 Frenzy Plant and still get to 2 X-Scissors from full HP, so that's why I no-shield the first move. If it's Aerial Ace, Aerial Ace actually does less damage than Frenzy Plant, even though it's super effective. So I'm fine with letting one of those moves go, knowing I just need to get to 2 X-Scissors. We throw them both. The Superior is going to go down here. We're going to be able to win this one, thankfully, because I love winning against Bastiodon players, because they're just as bad as Wiggly players to me. Tap your phone. Hope you win RPS matchups. We got Annihilate, a terrible matchup here. We're going to go into this. I'm trying to. Now, in that case, wasn't the game. I missed the button. I'm going to go into my Sableye here and try and get a move off before they hit me with a debuff. It is a Shadow Credilli. This is scary. If it's normal Credilli, I know I can live a move. I'm going to shield the first one up because I'm not sure, and I want to see how I can get this matchup to go for me. Now, because we're 4 away from the Gleam, we're going to go for it because it is going to hit harder than the Foul Play would. It does do more raw damage, so it's nicer to be able to land this. Now, in this case, I'm going to no shield. I want to see how much damage this does for science. A Shadow cannot live that. However, my Sableye lives it because my Sableye is I think it's a rank 1, isn't it? I think it is. But the non-Shadow Sableye on the safe switch, I'm telling you, this thing does just as good as the Shadow and just as good as the one with return. In my opinion, it's even more flexible with the one that has return because I would be having to throw foul plays into this if I had return. I can't do that with return because return is resisted on rock types. So I feel like Dazzling Gleam is going to do better, and they have a Dugong in the back. We just win this because Golisopod core breaks their team, and I am all too happy for that to be the case here because their entire team was kind of weak to it. But if we had safe swapped in Golisopod, it would have been slightly worse because we would have had to deal with Rock Tomb Cordilli, whereas Dugong, we just wall all of this thing's energy. We just need to make sure that we're throwing on good timing and not giving them any extra fast moves for free here. And I still have my Steelix. It's more than happy to come in at some point if it has to and land a Psychic Fang. But honestly, my pod will live here. We're going to go ahead and just try to get to another move, but the opponent does swap in the Annihilate here. We're going to go for the Aqua Jet right as they get to their next move here, and I'm not able to swap out because of CMP tie. Now, it's good to know that apparently Golisopod wins CMP over Annihilate because that's something else that I did not know. Now, the opponent is going to get the shield off me, but that's going to be a good game because I'll just get to another X-Scissor and take them out. And there's a 5-0 right after a string of 6 losses. Could have even been more. I just grabbed 6 because, honestly, I was too ashamed to try and put a team video together that was like, oh my god, look at this team. And then I took a 4-1 that 2 of the wins that I had were, well, one of them was a non-win because somebody, probably crashed or wasn't paying attention to their phone. And then the other one was a trainer that I know who's very good, who was playing not good. So I hope that this insightful kind of video helps. The team itself is incredibly strong, and I can really recommend having a regular. Do not remove return off your Sableye if you have it. Keep it. It's worth having another Sableye. It's worth having the options. I have now a return Sableye, a Shadow Sableye, and a normal Sableye with Gleam, and I can say that all 3 of them are incredibly good at what they do. It's just a matter of your personal preference on playstyle and whether or not you want the bulk or you want the damage. I think that both are good. I personally would put my Shadow Sableye as a closer or a lead, and then I would have my regular Sableye as a safe switch. That's how I would play it. Y'all are obviously free to experiment and play how you like. Let me know how you thought the Great League was, and that's going to do it for me for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.